Hello guys, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be talking about whether or not you should summon on the Shield Hero collab banner. Now, as far as the banner goes, the banner itself is, it's not too bad. It's probably the best collab banner we've gotten maybe ever. Maybe besides the first KOF banner, because that banner had Halloween Green Gother. But this banner, it has like, so it has Freyr, Magelda, and who else was on it? I should have pulled it up, but I mean, it's got a few really good units, and then of course the collab units. But then the other half of the banner is absolute garbage. So looking at it on that point of view, it's definitely better than, like the Slime banner or the ReZero banner in terms of filler. But as a free-to-play, should you be summoning on this banner? Now, as a pay-to-win, it'd probably be a smart idea. If you main the unknown team, it'd definitely be a really good idea because Philo is broken on the unknown team. And then if, you want to build the mono blue defense team with Naofumi and Raftalia, that might be an option for you. But I have been going through and doing my research to see whether or not these units are good and how long maybe they will last, give you guys my thoughts, and tell you whether or not I think you should summon. Now, of course, like in every single one of these videos, it's your gems, you do with it what you want. And like I say in all the videos that I do like this, if you're free to play and you are a meta chaser, collab banners are not for you. They are not good for you because you need cosmetics to get them meta and keep them meta. You cannot get cosmetics on collab units if you're free to play, and if you're going to dupe them up, you can't later on after the banner goes away. You can't get dupes unless they do a rerun, but those are extremely rare. Collab units are the rarest unit in the game, so keep that in mind. Now, if you're doing it just for collection purposes and you really like Shield Hero, and you're free to play, you will probably regret not pulling these units. Now, whether or not you need them to play the game, no. None of them, aside from the free unit, is necessarily broken or really good for PvE content. They're mostly PvE or PvP units. That being said, they are still really good. They're really good PvP units, but again, if you're free to play, it's not worth chasing. So let's go over their kits real quick. So we got Naofumi here, the boy himself, the Isekai Chad. He is blue. His passive is, when the hero assumes a stance at the start of the battle, increases all allies' basic stats by 30% of the hero's defense. When the hero takes damage from enemy skills on enemy's turn, applies 1 proof of wrath on the hero up to a maximum of 6 for every proof of wrath, increases the hero's all target skill damage by 35%. Which is pretty good. That's really good. His stance card is at level 1, assumes a stance which taunts enemies and increases defense-related stats by 30% for 1 turn, removes all debuffs, and only 1 debuff can be on the hero. At rank 3, assumes a stance, taunts, and increases defense-related stats by 80% for 2 turns, removes all debuffs, and only 1 debuff can be applied onto the hero, which is really good. This is probably now the best stance in the game. His Holy Relic is, when the hero's HP hits 0, recovers HP by 350% of the hero's defense limit 1 time. And then his second card, his attack card, inflicts damage equal to 110% of defense on all enemies, applies curse for 1 turn on rank 1, and then rank 3, inflicts damage equal to 275% of defense on all enemies, and applies curse for 3 turns. Now, curse is new. It's this really cool thing. Prevents ultimate move gauge from filling up for 2 turns on enemies who did not use a skill. So basically, it's another way to stop ult rush, especially with bond teams. If you stance up with him, they're not going to do a lot of damage to him because he's going to be so tanky with that stance. And if they don't use a skill, well, they can't rush ultimate. And what a lot of ult rush teams, including the Bond team, or I'm sorry, the Reinhardt team, what they like to do is they like to sit there, taunt up, and then just move cards. So this will stop that. Oh yeah, his ultimate decreases all stats of one enemy by 5% for 2 turns, inflicts wrath damage equal to 480% of defense on the enemy. And that is, I believe, on 1/6. Yes, 1/6. And then it's 30% at 6/6. Now it's single target. It's not a bad ultimate. It's probably, if you haven't built up 6/6 and you have wrath on him, it's gonna one shot. But I mean, it's not a game ender ultimate. But overall, his kit is really good, really solid. He's a good, solid unit. He's not gonna 100% completely take over the meta, I don't think, but he is still really good. So if you're not free to play and you really like this character, you want to go into it and build that team, go for it. It's looking pretty nutty right now. And of course, you want to pair him up with Raphtalia. She was 100% built to run with him. So let's look at it. She is also blue. You're going to run her on a mono blue team because her passive at the start of the battle increases all allies' max HP by 300% of the hero's defense. If all allies participating in battle are of the same attribute, reduces allies' damage taken by 30%. Her first card is single target, inflicts flood damage equal to 200% of defense on one enemy, and then 500% at rank 3. Her relic is when an ally assumes a stance, increases damage dealt by allies participating in battle by 40%. And then her second skill is inflicts sever damage equal to 120% of defense on one enemy, and then 300% at rank 3. And her ultimate is increases basic stats by 50% for 3 turns, inflicts damage equal to 320% of defense on all enemies. Her ultimate can hit really, really hard, but of course you're going to want to get her duped up. She is a DPS. She's probably going to be your main DPS when you're running her with this team, with Naofumi. But she's not the hardest hitting unit in the game. She can hit really hard if you have all the conditions met for her. But she's not the hardest hitting unit in the game. You want to run her with Naofumi. She wasn't really built to be ran away from him. Now, whether or not, longevity, whether or not that works out if she stays meta, that's DPS units always fall off, and she's mostly a DPS unit. Whereas Naofumi, on the other hand, he is definitely utility / DPS, so he's a hybrid, and he's probably going to last quite a while. If I were to make a prediction, he's probably going to last. Naofumi, on the other hand, Raphtalia, on the other hand, I don't think she's going to last as long, but she's definitely waifu. So, that's a plus. Now, Philo. This one, not only is she now the most adorable character in Grand Cross, but she's also probably the hardest hitting when you use her with the right team. She is green. You're going to be running her on the unknown team. That's my guess, going to be her best team. Her passive is when ally damages enemy with a skill, for every debuff on the enemy, ignores 8% of crit resistance and crit defense. If there are 5 or more debuffs on the enemy, increases the hero's single target attack skill damage, excluding the ultimate move, by 60%. Limit 5 times for crit resistance and crit defense debuff. That's definitely a mouthful. Her first skill is inflicts weak point damage equal to 90% of attack on all enemies, and 185% at rank 3. This card is going to hit really hard. What you're going to do, when you go into a match, you're going to be running her, the new Infinity Merlin, and Echidna. You're going to go into the match. You're going to use Echidna's the Infect card, and then Merlin's can't think of words right now. Merlin's Dissolve card. So they'll all have max 5 debuffs, and then you use this card right here, her AoE, and you're going to either one-shot the entire team, or you're going to do massive damage to the point where next turn you just win. Even against the Bond team, which is mono red. Sorry, the Reinhardt team. Now, on top of all of that, she has a stun card. Now, it only stuns on level 2 and 3, but still, she has a stun card. And this card, when the enemy has all those debuffs, this card's going to destroy. It's going to one-shot things. I don't think Netmarble has ever created a unit in this game that has a single target stun card that does this anywhere near this amount of damage. It's insane. The amount of damage she does. She is an amazing DPS unit. And then her ultimate decreases all enemies' HP related stats by 5% for 2 turns and inflicts damage equal to 630% of attack on one enemy. This unit is nutty, okay? Whether or not she will last, well, DPS units always fall off. But as long as there is a really good, solid debuff team out there, she's going to be there. She's going to last. I think she's going to do pretty well for the meta. Now, of course, if debuffs start to fall off, she's going to fall off. That being said, she's still going to be really hard-hitting, and she's going to be very prevalent in the meta for days to go. Now, for the last one, Kazuyama Kizuna. Now, I'm not finished watching Season 2 of Shield Hero, so I'm not 100% sure who she is. Some kind of hunter, fisher, whatever. But she's a PvE unit only. She is not, her passive doesn't work in PvP. And it also doesn't work in the Demonic Beasts, unfortunately. But she does work in the Demon Raids for the mats. Basically, she's going to replace Red Arthur in OG Demon if you pull her. But in PvE, if the hero damages an enemy on an ally's turn, ranks up all of the hero's cards and removes all debuffs from allies. Now, that's only her cards, unfortunately. But, I mean, it could be worse. She has a Pierce AoE, and her buff card is the exact same as the Red Arthur, the base Arthur. And then her relic, where's her relic? When the hero's skills are ranked up, increases all allies' attack-related stats by 30% for 2 turns, which is really good. That's really nice. And then her ultimate is increases all allies' damage by 7% for 2 turns and inflicts damage equal to 400% of attack on all enemies, which is the same as the Ragnarok Diane or Summer Diane ultimate. So overall, her kit is really good as a support unit in PvE. She'll probably last a decent while. Whether or not you should pull on this banner, if you're free to play and you're a meta chaser, no. If you're a collector, probably, because you'll probably regret not pulling them. If you are a spender, if you are a light spender, that's a little bit iffy. But if you're a big spender, yes, 100% go for this. This is going to be amazing for your box. You're going to love it. You're going to have so much fun with these units. Now, also, keep in mind, New Year's is coming, which means big festival. I have a pretty good idea of who it's going to be. And let's just say I'm going to 6-6 whoever that unit may be. And if you are familiar with my channel, you know, I'm an Archangel main. So yeah, keep in mind that big things will be coming. So, you know, plan accordingly. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and y'all have a wonderful day.